It's still Galaxy Today, Tuesday's edition, and today we are looking at matters arising within the Nigerian Army. Joining us in the studios this afternoon, we have the CEO, Okhidievbie Security, HR Outsourcing, and is also a defense correspondent, and he is also an ambassador in the Nigerian Army. Our guest is Ambassador Roy Okhidievbie. Good afternoon, Ambassador Roy. Thank you for coming on.
You did well with
Good afternoon. Yes, of
Thank
course.
You for coming.
It is expected now.
Yeah. Okay, expected how?
Yeah,
she's from the same region,
from
isn't
yes.
Okay, it's on the tongue.
Yes.
Thank you so much for finding time
easy.
to join us.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start from the statement from the Chief of Army Staff. I'm quoting him now. He says, "This is to inform the public that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Buratai, has received information that some individuals have been approaching some officers and soldiers for undisclosed political reasons." Now, the reaction, swiftly enough, from the political realm is that this statement is kind of heating up the party. Now, how do you put that in perspective as a security consultant?
Well, thank you very much. You see, one thing I'm happy with our tenure now, our generation, is that we are shying away from covering information.
Okay.
Information is now on the go.
That's right.
And I'm happy with the Chief of Army Staff because coming out to say covertly or overtly that a coup d'etat might be in the making means that every other person will start talking about it. We are talking about it. Parties that are supposed to be convinced to take part in it will begin to see reasons why not to. So, but if you do, in those days, you just keep quiet and somebody is just brainwashing some set of people and they take law into their hands, and at the end, you have to regret it. Not even now that you have 3 facets to win for a coup d'etat.
Okay.
Number one is you have to generate internal acceptance. You have to actually see a government that is not going pari passu with expectation of the general populace. Now, what we have right now, all parties seem to have a say. All parties seem to be compensated. Like in the corruption fight now, it's not even that people are arrested and no evidence. We are seeing evidence. We are seeing video clips. We are seeing the monies being etched out from hideouts and all of that. We are seeing clips, statement of accounts flying in the social media of persons. We are seeing them coming out to say it was a gift. Okay, but it was in your possession. Now, these things are creating a misnomer in the covert operations of people that want to distort government. How? 3 of us sat down before now. We agreed to do XYZ transaction illegally. And you told us the proceed was 5 million naira, example. And you gave me 1 million, you gave Madam 1 million. You said, okay, because you are the pioneer, you are holding 3 million. And just recently, I had a problem with my house, my finances. I came to beg you for money. You said nothing. And now you are caught. And I'm hearing it's 5 billion. 5 billion. And you gave us 1 million. So what are you coming to tell me? What are you going to tell somebody else that will not come back to us and say, what really happened? I said, that guy is a scam. Now, so many things are happening right now to disabuse the opportunity to conceal and connive, because trust is now a lost word amongst those that want to try anything. So the statement that Buratai that people are approaching military personnel, the first thing is to approach military personnel. The first thing is to convince military personnel. But the military personnel themselves, the task now is onerous. Why? You need to first win a command. In those days, you have military positions that have large number of men, that have large catches of arms, like armories and in charge of the armored vehicles that have connections with the air fleet and all of that. Now, it has been dissipated. the commands that we have now is not under one person's command control. Now you don't have that on sole honor. So many soldiers are outside in operations in Sambisa, in the east, in the west, in the north. There are so many commands now that are liquid that could easily intercept if you want to plan any type of coup. That is for the within the military.
All right, maybe we should hold the thought there. We'll come back to, because I see this is going somewhere. But we have on standby in Abuja the member representing Fika Fune Federal Constituency in Yobe State, Honorable Ismaila Ahmed Gadaka. Good afternoon, Honorable. Thank you for joining us on the program this afternoon. All right, we are looking at matters arising in the Nigerian military, and I want to ask you a very direct question. Is there a clear-cut role of the military in politics in the first place?
Can you come again, please?
Question again is, does the military have a clear-cut role in politics in the first place?
Military?
Well, you hear me?
Honestly, there is nothing like military. No, I'm not hearing you very well. I'm not hearing you very well.
Gadaka, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, my question once again is, does the military have any significant role to play in politics?
Well, as far as the constitutional role of the military is to defend the integrity, the territorial integrity of a nation. But as far as the politics is concerned, military has nothing to do with politics. They have no any role at all. What they are, only they are to provide security of life and properties of the nation, of the citizens. So their role is basically to protect the territorial integrity. So there is nothing like a role in any political spheres or anything.
Okay, so let's then find out what the reaction of the House of Representatives is to the recent comment made by the Chief of Army Staff that certain politicians have been meeting privately with some military officers.
Well, this allegation is, we just took it as a mere rumors, because if any politicians should find a way of taking over power by means of ballot boxes, not by means of military coup. If any politician is dreaming in the line of whether they will connive with military to take over power, that's a very capital lie. It's a capital mess to himself. He's not definitely sure he may not be a real politician. For every politician, what he always entails, if there is a government, yeah.
I mean, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, and this is not also the first time we're hearing about the romance that exists between the political class and the military. We've heard about the militarization of elections in the past. How do you call what the Chief of Staff says a rumor?
What we saw is that the only thing is that when we had the Chief of Army Staff saying that they are going to bring those culprits, those military officers. As far as I'm concerned, maybe it may be a military officer that are trying to overthrow the government. But I doubt much. I really doubt much that there will be any politician in this country that would dream of military taking over or military coup. Because if I'm a politician, if I don't want this government, my plans will be geared towards making sure that my ideologies and my political party are set to come in 2019, so that we take over the government by means of ballot boxes, by means of voting. And we should just vote the government in power, not thinking of conniving with some military officers to overthrow. That will not be a solution, because it's gone are those days when military go in and take over government, political government by means of coup. It's no longer the case. You look at the globally, the world at large. There's no country that succeed in military coup by taking over a democratically elected administration through the ballot, through the means of God. So that one is just we really felt sad. If there is, then the chief of army staff have come out clearly that those suspected military officers will be brought to book. And we as politicians here in the House of Rep will not allow those people that think along that line to go free. We will definitely should bring them back to book. Thank you.
Honorable, let me ask you one more question. The statement released by the Chief of Army Staff, would have just remained a statement if not for the reactions, that followed that statement. A lot of notable people came out and actually started talking about the implication or the import of the words that he used. Also, the United Kingdom is not playing with the statement because through his High Commissioner to Nigeria, they issued a stern warning to politicians, the military, and individuals who might be conniving to hijack the government. Now, for me, I think this is a very, very serious issue. If it's even garnering some sort of international reactions to that effect, that we're being warned. Don't you think that the government of the day should pay like a critical or more attention to this issue, and that we should checkmate it so we can nip it in the bud while it's still fresh? Don't you think so?
That's what it's supposed to be, and I'm assuring you, the government are not just sitting down. I'm an APC member, and I want to assure you that the APC government will not sit down and be watching things going wrongly. We'll fight these actions to the latter, and I assure you, what I only advise the Chief of Army Staff to come out with those names. If there's any names, any military officer that you know that he's part of those that are conniving with those politicians, please, he shouldn't hesitate to bring out the names so that they should be brought to book, either through the military and through the Constitution is here. The Constitution is clearly stated. If an army officer is trying to make a coup, there's a law establishing the Nigerian army that will be a specific punishment is stated for those that have been justified and been proved that he is part and parcel of that thing. So as far as we are concerned, there is no military government that will solve Nigerian problem. Nigerian problem is going to be solved by we the politicians, and we are determined to resolve all our political differences politically, not by the means of coup or by the means of God. Thank you.
All right, Honorable, some schools of thought are of the opinion that this is not unconnected to the absence of President Muhammadu Buhari. What is the latest from the APC as regards the president's medical vacation?
Please come again.
That this particular development is not unconnected to the absence of Mr. President. What latest news does your party has about the president's medical vacation?
Well, I want to tell you that the Nigeria, we have a constitution. We're not running a government that is not binded by any law. There is a law. There's a law in this country, and we have our own constitution, 1999 constitution, as amended. The constitution is very clear. If whatever may be the case, if the president is not around, he has the vice president who is also acting in his own capacity. Vice president is acting in the absence of the president. So whatever the president can do, the vice president is equally in a position to do that. So the issue of whether it is connected to whether the president is not around or is around. Anybody that want to perpetrate anything, be it whether the president is around or is not around, they can do so. But I assure you, anybody, any politician or any military officer that dreams that this thing is going to succeed, he's dreaming. He's just dreaming. Nigeria, we are going to react to it, and Nigerians are going to react to it. Nigerians are going to react to it, and we are saying no to military coup in this country. Nigeria is the leader of democracy, is the highest democracy in Africa. So if Nigeria can go extra mile to go and fight military coup elsewhere, I see no reason why. Now, today, and somebody will be dreaming that, a military man will be dreaming that he's going to take over government in Nigeria by means of coup. That's a daydreaming. I'm assuring you, Nigerians are very much aware, and we are very much enlightened. All the politicians are enlightened, and all the masses, the local people are enlightened. Nobody, even the villages, nobody wants the military to come back. Nigerian democracy is here to stay. We are growing our own democracy to the letters. Yeah.
For finding time to join us
Thank
today
you.
on the program. But wouldn't you say that we're taking this a bit too far? Why the use of coup d'etat? Because even the statement made by the Chief of Army Staff never mentioned
Didn't
that.
have those
he
words.
only said that some officers and soldiers have been meeting with some politicians for political reasons. Why is anyone not talking about 2019, given the role that the military played in previous elections?
You see, I don't want to respond to that discussion because he was actually talking from the dictates of his office. Okay. And then we can't owe him any responsibility to go avarice with the government and everything. We too, we are not here to hype anything against the government. We are looking at it from a different standpoint. My standpoint is there are disgruntled elements in the polity. There are disgruntled elements in APC that feel that they have not been compensated for all I did to bring this government into power. So we usually go reactive. Most times we go reactive. And my concern with going reactive is that lives would have been lost. You know, truncation would have taken place for any government project, any government plan, any plan to bring back the economy, any plan to liaise with international community on business, on partnership. You know, this kind of thing truncates government plan. Now, if anybody is trying to use and abuse authority by use of weapons and arms, the same officers that you said are not going to agree, they have disgruntled elements. The same polity that we are saying would not be stupid enough to go and do that kind of thing, they have disgruntled elements. Not something about politicians. They don't come out to bear the brunt. They always push from behind. Look at the whole area boys and the miscreants that get killed. Look at them that get arrested, that are in detention till now for political crimes and all of that. Do you think they really know the politician that actually pushed them to cause mayhem, to take lives? They don't. There is a stooge that comes in to share money through their own hierarchy to the grassroots where the perpetration takes place. So if there is a spokesperson speaking to some officers, planning whatever they want to do against government, so if it is for the election, it's against government. It's to truncate the normal course of things. So to be reactive is to quickly put it on the table. And that is what the Chief of Army Staff has done. And that is what has brought us here now, speaking about it. So whoever would have been machinizations to be used will be hearing us. They are hearing the diaspora community saying, what the heck is this all about?
Let me butt in here, Ambassador. Now, in your experience as a military man, and you're also an ambassador in the Nigerian Army now, when a Chief of Army Staff actually comes out to release such a statement carrying a heavy dose of warning, you know, to his officers, is that something that should be taken with levity?
It can never be taken with levity. Let me tell you his concern from my perspective. We have civilians, politicians, government representatives that take the government for granted. And they go scot-free. We have people now that have strong cases against them. They are even still in government. So can't you think that they will wave this carrot stick against the army authority, disgruntled elements, and say, we are in power. We'll tell you what will happen. and somebody goes to such a politician and say, I want to be posted out of Sambisa, I don't want to die, and the next thing he gets a call that he has been redeployed to a peaceful area, won't you trust that that politician is powerful?
Yes.
Were we not all here when somebody stood in public media and said, who is the presidency? And that person is supposed to be a member of the government, and he's telling you who is the presidency. Then he's now telling some officers, come, let me tell you what to do. So the chief of army staff statement is a proactive measure, which is to save life and to deter any truncation in government establishment. Look at the retired members of the army now. You know that so many allocations to their welfare and all of that are also being negated. Now, there are people in the army that also believe that when I retire tomorrow, what will I get? And the politician is telling him, look at all they have written for people that are retired, nothing. Let me tell you how to make your life better. So the chief of army staff is not stupid. And one thing you should note, sir, is that he's saying it now. The honorable was saying he should come out and mention names.
Yeah.
That's also stupid. If you have heard as a chief of army staff and you have evidence that Roy and this other guy are discussing with some politicians, when you go on air like that and bring it out, it's to reduce our opportunity to recruit more people. It's also to reduce the opportunity not for it to have escalated beyond his intelligence gathering.
Okay. But then,
what he has discovered may be bigger than what he is hearing.
Okay. What comes to mind now is that for the chief of army staff to have made that statement, he must be speaking from an informed point of view.
Yeah.
That means that to an extent he can confirm and establish the fact. It sounds like, I know that some people are doing wrong under me, but then I choose to warn them rather than discipline them. It doesn't sound military to me.
No, no. You see, he's not coming out, my perspective, I'm not speaking for him. I'm telling you from my understanding based on my pedigree. For the army to gather men together and say, stop this, stop this, stop this, does not mean that they have people that they intend to discipline. If the chief of army staff goes to a barrack and picks up 1 or 2, 3 officers, you don't even know if those officers you are picking up are down the line of the plan. You don't know. You don't even know if those officers you are picking up are a decoy.
Okay.
You pick those ones up, and the re-hatchet job is ongoing. So the best thing is to throw a blanket and still put those people on tail and watch for a counter reaction from somewhere else, because any other suspicious move will be tailed down. Then note too that when you bring something to light, it starts to dissipate. You know, we are looking at military intervention and all of that. Can you remember that just recently a sitting president was voted out of office and he refused to leave? Is that not a civilian coup? He didn't say we are contesting the vote. He didn't say the seat is vacant. I and this person we are going to court to find, then there's an interim president. He said he's not leaving. And it took all presidents plus our president to go to his country to make him leave. And it took forces to land on the soil, external military to drop on the soil before he actually left. Now, we are not looking at that proactively. If the military in his country has been bought over, what if there is an election tomorrow in Nigeria? We're always talking about the army, the army, the army. What if a civilian sitting president says, I am not leaving? Whatever INEC has done is rubbish. Where would we be? We need to use that scenario and begin to see how he generated his network. So for the chief of army staff to come and say this, he's actually looking beyond the army. He's looking at a situation where a civilian can sit down, not like a terrorist in the bush fighting. He's sitting down controlling the powerful
but as a
level of
representation
government,
of
the radio,
authority. Yeah.
the network, the Senate is still sitting and he's saying it's not living, that they should even dissolve INEC. What if we have that situation? People will look at the Chief of Army Staff. If he's not in the know and he's not in agreement, he has not been bought over. The next thing is to assassinate him.
So there are other developing stories where the military is concerned. This government came in 2015 primarily with the change mandate, and it was all about fighting corruption. But then we seem to have some damning reports. The latest one is from Transparency International, which is stating that the president's promise to tackle corruption and terrorism is being hampered by lack of transparency in military contract awards. Are you surprised that there is still an allegation of corruption in the military under President Muhammadu Buhari?
I thought the Transparency International man will be here.
He was scheduled to come.
Okay, because yes, because you see, sometimes we do a lot of Transparency International reports and everything. These reports that are written, let me tell you, the Transparency International we are talking about, they have a target. They have a status quo to report, to gain preeminence, to become relevant in the global system. So they must actually be seen guzzling around issues and raising up doors to bring issues to light. But intelligently, let's look at this. When the new dispensation took over and a lot of dust was removed from all the corruption, army officers, navy officers, air force officers were arrested. Bade and some of them about the corruption in the contracts, in the purchase of military equipment and all of that. Now, the whole morale and motivation were hyped up. Everybody was now ready to fight. Every military man was ready to fight. And we had a lot of escapades, and they destroyed, hoisted all the flags of the terrorists, took up the strongholds of the terrorists. They are now doing pockets of attacks. They are now doing pockets of attacks. The same people we have now in the politics. Look at, you must pari passu the analysis. If you don't do it side by side, you will never understand why they are saying this is happening in the army. After you raise the dust in the army, everybody now said they want to work. We now started to hear that in the political system too, they are seeing hundreds and thousands of dollars and euro in somebody's sockaway pit, under his bed, in a locked up locker, in his house. And these same people are still in power, ruling. These same people are still walking about, being bailed from court of law. Then these same judges that are supposed to hold them to ransom, same, are still being found wanting with illegal monies being paid into their account. The military is there. They are fighting Boko Haram. They are ready to fight. They have pushed out all the criminals within the military.
That's right.
For you to kill them, do anything, we don't want them, we don't know them. Up to pension scam, where names were put in, fake names were put, all was exposed. Now the civilians are on the side. They are getting away with criminal activities. They are in posh houses, driving posh cars. The military people are in danger zones, losing loved ones, dying every day, without still getting the opportunity to truncate, to connive, to plan, to steal. Do you want to tell me that if your first son and your second son commit the same offense and one of them gets away, the second one will not begin to compromise? We should not be bothered about the side going down. We should be bothered about the side going up, because to balance a scale, you must bring the side going up lower to the same level with the other side. The army has been actually investigated. So many things have been exposed, up to pension, that is why retired military men are able to see data now and say, we have been cheated.
Okay.
We have this amount allocated to us, it was not given. Because the access to information, access to information for the political side is lacking.
Okay.
Now, the same politician will go to the military person and tell them, look, come and talk to me. And that is where we are.
And it's an immediate thing.
That is why he brought it out.
All right. Now, the army statement is still sparking up ongoing tension in the country. We're now looking at it as a security issue. What are the measures we should put in place to checkmate this? That we'll be talking about when we come back from this. And our guest in the studios is still Ambassador Roy Okhidievbie. Now, as a security expert, let us begin to talk about, you know, the right way to focus on this and to begin to checkmate any ugly, you know, spin-off coming from this.
Okay. Before we go into that, let me first of all throw an observation that Nifemi looks like my president.
And how do you mean?
So
maybe one day.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go and investigate that in background check and all of that. Okay. Now, let's look at 3 angles to be able to draw blood in Nigeria. For you to be able to draw blood or spill blood in this country, there are 3 major angles. One of them is political difference. The second one is tribal differences. The third one is religious differences. Even if that person is an imam or a pastor, if you bring any of these 3 to them, then you will now know the real person in that person. Maybe you now tell him, this guy is killing our people. Up to a petty thing like, this guy is in power, is employing maybe Yoruba or Igbo, is not taking us and is not employing our people. You develop hatred. Or you say this guy is a Muslim and he's treating Christians anyhow. You develop hatred. You forget other angles. And maybe you say this guy is an APC member, I'm a Labour Party, that is why he's doing like that. And maybe you are not even Labour, you are PDP. You immediately align with him. You will now hear alignment. That parties are aligning against another. So those 3 angles are very vital. Religious, political, and tribal. What do you need to compromise a military officer? It's my question. Somebody said, you want to use the military to do this. How could you have compromised his training, his ethics, and his belief? How? 2 angles, I tell you, 2. Number 1 is welfare in service. Number 2 is welfare after service. I'm already fighting. I can die any day. I can face a crisis any day. As we are seated here, if we are military people, there is a fracas there now. Police will first intervene. If it's beyond them, they will call the mobile policemen. If it's beyond the mobile policemen, they will immediately give orders for soldiers to roll out. We will roll out. If you shoot a bullet there that you are not commanded to, or there is no returning fire, and you kill somebody, you are immediately going to jail in the army. And this is the life they live. So their concern mainly is welfare in service, welfare
when they are
after
gone.
Service. There was a time in Kaduna where we had a shooting competition, and the guys that came from the US Marine and all of that, they were surprised to see a soldier taking permission to go and pay his child school fees. And he was like, you know the school your children attend? He said, yes. I put them in school. What? There is no education board that takes care of your children's school, and you face your career. He said, no. And we are beating them. Go and check world record. Nigerian Army have made their mark in performance in any of the corps. Medical, armored, infantry, engineers, all of it. Now, if you can compromise me in service, you have to provide a welfare package for me than what is not expected. Man has his greed.
That's right.
That is accepted. But 3 people together have different levels of greed. So if I bring money here and I say take, and you are not alone, you may want to take it. I will now may be the one to say, okay, we don't want your money, get out of this place. So the army must operate together. The army is a unified fighting force. So you can't go and bribe a soldier. Others will even want to know what you gave the Oba, what did he bring? And because of the connection they have, you may not be able to lie like politicians do. You may actually bring it up. So you look at the welfare. How are they well taken care of? Do they have education cover for their kids? If any of their kid is a first-class child, will he get scholarship support from the government? Does the government present it to even the oil and gas, the USAID that do first class for people and say, you must take 5 from the military if you are doing any free scholarship for our kids? Now, if you look at the medical, do they have standard hospitals? Which of them will have money to say, I'm going abroad to check my kidney, to do this and that, that civilians do? Even a girl that is a girlfriend to a senator or whatever, we have seen everything on the media. Those days when you are talking, they will say, how do you know? It's viral. Everybody knows that they can sponsor their wards, their girlfriend abroad. The same soldier that is keeping the stability, the concrete pillars of the country, cannot go abroad to check himself, cannot help his mother. And that is where compromise comes in. Because the civilian is coming to say, let me take your kids out of the country. Let me do this for you. So that is one, their welfare. The second thing you look at is their welfare after service. Some of them say, when man leave this job, where am I going to? How far? I don't even have a land. I don't have a house. And somebody is telling him, I'll build you 2 houses, one in Abuja, one in your village. I can give you one of my estates in Dubai. You just take one of the buildings, all the papers are in your name. Then you think of his welfare when he's leaving the job. Where is he going to? Will he now begin to look for a job? If he has a medical condition, he has used his limbs. He has used his organs. Some cannot see. Some cannot really hear very well because of blast of ammo. Some has kidney because of what they drink in the bush and what they eat. So, are you thinking of his total welfare package after he leaves? And he's telling the civilian, please, 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 I'm retiring next month. Everything has been taken care of. So, you must look at that angle. So, once you can treat that angle, the 3 areas that draws blood in this country become secondary. So, if you tell me now that, Roy, come, they are killing people from Edo State, let's go and fight. I will ask you, guy, I'm okay where I am. If they are killing people there, write a letter to my command. Let us address it. I can't sneak and follow you and go and kill people. So before you know that, everything is being captured in the right perspective. So if you now find a soldier or a military officer doing anything out of the ordinary, he has himself to blame because his colleagues too will say, what were you looking for?
It's a very interesting point of view, but we have had
very
former military men who are civilian president. The General Olusegun Obasanjo was here for 8 years. The current president was also a general, right? Yeah. Who else would have taken care of the welfare of the military than those who've been there before? What is there something wrong somewhere?
Let me tell you. I did a full analysis on this. Take me anywhere, I will say it. If you have your pen and paper anywhere, put it down and advise those that need the advice. Look at what we are talking about now. Military person, served throughout his tenure, did not enjoy service, did not join others to plan coup like our former president, David Mark, former senators, and all of that. They did not. If they did, they will not be where they are as retired. Now they are retired and they get into government. What blinded their view? What blinded their priority to take care of these 2 packages we have talked about? The welfare of troops in service, the welfare of troops out of service. What blinded it? That was my research. I had to dig deep to find that out. Do you know that for a police officer to hold ground and there is a crisis, he is holding ground, is because he knows that if he gets beyond him, the army will show up. And once the army shows up, there is no story. It's to clear everywhere. That is the pillar we have. I am retired now, and I was not compensated adequately. I was not exposed. I was not taken care of adequately. Then I retired. After retirement, I am still not getting what I should get
Yes.
by international standard.
Yes.
What stopped me that can just sign a paper, that can just give an approval for this welfare of troops to go through? I looked at it, I said, okay. That is why I always bring a balance. I said, stop looking at the army. I have stopped looking at the army. I'm now looking at the polity. What stops a senator that was a teacher, that was a barber, that was a bus driver in his village? He now gets to the National Assembly. What stops him from helping to put a transformer without inflating the price? What stops him from putting a hospital? Even doctors that become senators, they don't go back to put a hospital. Let's not go to another field. Let's stay on their field. Engineers, civil engineers that get to the decision-making level of this country. Professors that get to decision level of this country forget the academia.
Yeah.
They forget the lecturer in the university. He begins to sell handouts. He begins to take bribe from students. They forget. They just get there and they get stuck. So why? Why does the military retired generals in power
Now you're putting us in so much suspense. You're going to have to tell us why because of time. We have to leave now, so because you have to tell us what exactly was that discovery.
Why? In a few short sentences, please.
There are cabals. The cabals cuts across religion, cuts across tribe, cuts across political party. They have to tell us the truth. There are those at that level that do not discuss about your PDP and APC. They don't discuss if you are a Muslim or I'm a Christian. They don't discuss if you are from Edo State and the other person is from Kano State. At that level, they are the elites. They are the ruling class. They take what they meet.
Wow.
Now, when they get there, it is what is approved that they must do, not what they believe. So we want to see a senator writing his resignation, not even that one that was suspended. Fine, he was suspended, he brought up a lot of dust, and we saw a lot of things. Why did you not resign before you were suspended?
We have to
go
now.
Food for thought for every single Nigerian who is
it's so sad.
Watching at this time. It is really a sad situation, and it has put me in a very sober mood as well.
It's
you know,
so sad.
because you begin to reflect on so many things.
So sad.
We're going to have to continue these
Yes,
conversations some
another
other
day.
days. We've
Thank you so much, Ambassador Roy Okhidievbie. Thank you so
Okhidievbie,
much
thank
for
you
coming on the
finding
show.
time to come.
He is the CEO of August Eye Security. He's a security expert and he's a defense correspondent and an ambassador in the Nigerian Army. Thank you again for joining us.